back in it. Alright, now, I was explaining before, alright, this is the continuation of this stuff. We're in phase engine. I'm explaining how it works comprehensively and how the program breaks down in Yato Mashato and why I layered it and why it looks like the jumbled stuff. This is why I did this diagram right here, so you can see it not jumbled on top of each other, because I guess the program that I'm using, which I still think is the most genius thing ever, by Mr. Lehel. Man, dude, you need, please come talk to me, because that program is ill. This is what it looks like, not jumbled, in layers. So as you turn the pulse width knob, 0 to 15 will control the upright wave like this. Okay, I'll show you on the Blofeld, because I know like you probably need to see what I mean. Okay, and then for this instance, you can make the oscillators. It only does this because you're putting it in cone minus. It doesn't really actually invert it. It only does it. You can't run a cone plus and a cone minus and have one oscillator going up this way and then down that way. I've already tried it. You can try it. I'll show you right now. It doesn't work that way. Okay, you see how this is going down? That would be 16 through 31. You see how the phase is going down, because see, as soon as I turn it to cone plus, when I go back to 3, it goes back up. Now I'll just show you, because I know you guys are probably like, yeah, right, you never tried it. Alright, I'll show you. Cone minus, cone plus. Wait, whoops. Yeah, cone plus, filter 1. Cone minus on filter 2. It doesn't work, okay? So now, I'm telling you that. So I'll get back to this. I need to start letting the synthesizer do more talking than me, but I must explain this. So 0 through 15 controls the upper portion. 16 through 31 would control the down portion of the single cycle. So 0 and 16, 32 and 48, obviously. You turn the footage up, there you go. If you changed it over, there you go. You see? I'm showing you this clearly. There you go. If this helps you understand it a lot better, I would hope so. Now, okay, back to the diagram. So then 64 and 79 will control the 4 cycle, and 80 through 95 will control the inverted version of the 4 cycle. That's why it's phased, because when you hit the FM is like a patch cable on this synthesizer. When you think of frequency modulation, you obviously have to think of that, but you also have to think of it as a patch cable, because in essence, if you take filter FM and you plug it into oscillator 1, that would be like a patch cable going into oscillator 1 from the FM to frequency modulated. And that is how the plugins work when you run silent oscillators or silent stuff like this. Let me show you. When you run silent, like liquid metal, or just even, it doesn't have to be that. It could be anything. You could even run a ohm through this. And what I mean by ohm is filter self oscillation. When you bring the resonance up to the 113, you could run it even through two-dimensional stuff like this phase oscillator, because as you see, when I showed you guys on the screen right here, it's kind of like 2D looking. You know, there's really not much to it. I mean, obviously you see the layers of the cycles and what I'm showing you, but you know, and then like I told you, play table and all that stuff's a little bit different. It's a little weird, strange. We'll have to get into that in a sec. But what I'm saying to you is that you can run the ohm through these different plugins, and you get different types of color, because I told you that sound comes in colors as well. Sound is omnidimensional, omnidirectional. Noise, RM, FM, you get that easy with these plugins, because sometimes when you crank the FM, when you're not as sparing on it, You get a hint of noise in there, then you don't even need to use a noise generator, and you still have oscillator tone. And the oscillator tone is generated from filter resonance. And I'll show you guys that here in a second. Had to tighten my belt, gotta get to work, you know. Alright, so let me kill this oscillator. I was showing you guys that for the purpose of like you see, you know, the cycles. So it just changes. I'm doing it in layers like this. That way the synthesizer brain can calculate it. And then that's why you get more feet. Because if you do something 32 on a program, the synthesizer registers as an 8. So if you turn from 8 to 16, it's actually at 64, then 128. That's how you get lower and or higher. So playing 0 oscillators and -1 feet oscillators, stuff like that. Okay, so let's play and set it up. Init patch. Crank that up to like volume on 60 something. All right. Let's pull a sign up. Excuse me. Now I'm at this top 127. I told you from 112 to 127 is the 8 cycle. See? Now I'm 8 foot. You gotta get some. You can hear it. You can't get that low. And look, that's only the plug-in. I turn it down and you automatically get like an electric piano sound. You can't argue with that. And I didn't even start modulating. I didn't plug no FM in. I haven't even phase modulate. None of that. I didn't do anything yet. You see that? I had to turn it up. Now I'm going to turn it back down. Now I'm just proving my point. So that's a single cycle 128. That's 512 foot oscillator. Because you know that 128 is that. If it was a sine wave, that's what it would look like. We're like right here on a sine wave, covering all that up. We're like at the edge of it. Whew, that's heavy, huh? Alright, so let me kill that. This turns back up to something normal. Registry. Now, let's turn on the other oscillator and we're going to phase it. And I'm going to show you how to do it. You take the oscillator. You take the pulse width to 16 because that would be the down version of the single cycle. You see? Now you have no noise. See that? Now if I kill it, magically, oh wow, the sine wave's back. See? But that's the phase. Now, use the patch cable, which is the FM, is what I call the patch cable. Take it to oscillator 2, obviously, right? Because we're using wavetables. But what you will want to call, these are plugins though, dude. And when I show you seals and crystals and ba 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 ba, then you understand that it's not just, oh, this is a wavetable. Humble. Be humble now. Let's bring the power back in with the patch cable, right? Right? 8 and 8. Match it up. Or you can mismatch it, doesn't matter. But where the fun begins is when you take an LFO and you put it on a mod wheel, right? And you crank it to 63 on both of them. Because then you can go through the cycles which changes octaves and makes stuff more interesting. Here's a tip. Take the LFO, which is LFO1 going to mod wheel. You start phase it at 0. Take the speed down to what? 7, 6, something like that. Or you can reverse it. I don't rehearse shit. Let me show you. Take this one to 96 because that's the up portion. You take 2 to 120, 112. Now you want to hit reverse on it, so negative. See what I mean? You cannot do that with the normal oscillators on there. That's why I rewrote them and recoded them, and then the machine has to follow the program, and then this program has to follow the machine, and then you get this hack confusion, which gives you a grandiose plethora of play to do with normal oscillator. That's the sine wave. When have you ever heard a sine wave sound in that manner? When have you ever heard a still picture on a wall that's like an image make noise other than when it falls and breaks on the ground? We're playing portraits. I told you this stuff, and we're just in some 2D stuff. So let me show you. Okay, well, sound is omnidimensional, omnidirectional. I told you that. But as the picture portrays, this would be the 2D engine. Okay, the phase oscillator engine, just all standard oscillators. But you see that there's more to it than that. All right, look at this. That's just a sine wave. So let's get into a saw. I know people like the saw wave, B harmonics. Let's get into it. See, I basically instilled the power of organ ranks within, like, even on a micro level within the Blofeld, because see, what you could do with this is you could change the footage overall, but you can also still change the footage on a macro tip within the pulse width. That's the function of the pulse width knob in this engine. Now I hope you guys can understand this comprehensively. Okay, I'll explain this one more time, just real quick. And some 1, 2, 3. The pulse width knob controls how many cycles. Cycles are measured in feet. The Blofeld dictates cycles by its own AI, or its own CPU or whatnot. Okay. Now the 32 foot, if you make something as a single cycle waveform, or 1 up, 1 down, which would be this, I'll show you again on screen, which would be 32 foot. Okay. It's 1 up, 1 down. That would be this. Okay, so if you do that with these phase oscillators, because I wrote them in 1, 2, 4, and 8 cycles, the machine will read them in a different manner. Okay, that's what I'm saying to you, and this is how it breaks down, so you can get up. So if you're in the machine, if you have a 16 cycle, it would be a foot, or half a foot. I mean, that's actually 2 in the software, but it's a half a foot to the Blofeld. 32. I haven't made any 16 cycle waveforms yet, but I mean I haven't tested it in here, but I didn't include that in the phase oscillator pack. I'll include that in on some freebie stuff, and it's not really hard to do, but it is kind of sort of, but just let me do it and I'll give it to you guys for free, and then you can have some fun and play. But I would advise you to probably just trust me on this. I'll get into some more display, but the I mean, after I update the stuff and whatnot, the phase bundle's only $10, and you're getting like 100 and something different things, oscillators in this engine. You get 100, over 100. You get like 100 and like what, 15 or 114 different things for $10. You can't beat it. You cannot beat that. And that's going to be on any store that I'm on OfferUp, on eBay, on whatever store that you see me on. That's what it's going to be universally, $10. So if you've ever bought this off me or whatever, Yatamashata, I got you. The sample packs is if you don't trust it. It's like, okay, here I'll throw you guys something for $1, $2 or something. Here you go. Here's 10 little things. Go ahead and plug it in and play. And then be smart and spend the 10, or spend the dub, the 20, you know, or the 30, or the 40. You know what I mean? Because like chromium seals, there's 780 items in that. Magic sigils, there's 780 items in that. You know what I mean? Like, if I show you the plethora of stuff that you can do, which I will be showing you, you understand why the bundle pack is $45, because they're broken down in sections. And one section may have 224, and this one has 224, this one has 166, and Yatamashata. There's a lot of stuff that is going on within these plugins, and I don't think you guys really comprehend that. But today, I hope you guys will be comprehending phase. I will be doing one more episode on phase, displaying more stuff of it. I'm going to wrap this up. This is getting long. The next episode, I will be doing more play, and I will explain why I redid the pulse, and made it like this, and Yatamashata. But the reason why I also redid the oscillators is so I can give more power. Because as you hear, they're very grandiose sounding. So that's why I also rewrote them. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Next episode, we'll let the synthesizer do some talking and whacking of the tables with a hammer. I will catch you on the flip, Squally.